Welcome back to the Oscar Project Podcast, the show where I discuss Oscar-nominated films year by year. I am your host, Jonathan Eaterberg, and today I'm bringing you an interview with Bartłomiej Błaszczyński, the director of the short film Take Me to Her, which was selected as a finalist for the 2024 Student Academy Awards. Before I jump into the interview, please be sure to subscribe to the show in your podcast player so you can get all the newest episodes as soon as they are released. If you like the interview and want to hear more, please consider leaving a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Bartłomiej Błaszczyński is an actor and director who studied at the University of Silesia in Katowice and Lodz Film School. He joins me on the podcast to talk about his short film, Take Me to Her, which was selected as a finalist in the narrative category of the 2024 Student Academy Awards. Bartłomiej, welcome to the show.
Well, hello, Jonathan. It's so nice to be here. And there's an anecdote because my good friend once told me that I will never get any award because Błaszczyński, it's so difficult to, call me on stage. But you did very well, so thank you.
Thank you so much. Try and get it as best I can. Now, the film here is an incredibly heartbreaking story. I don't want to give too much away for anyone who hasn't seen it, but what was the inspiration for the film? If you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I think the story is the most powerful part of this film, and it was written by my wife, and I guess it starts with an image in her head, a picture of breastfeeding a foreign baby. And it was years before we had our own kids, so then it seemed like such an extraordinary and exotic idea. And since then, she gave birth to our 3 kids, so breastfeeding became very natural.
Sure.
But the story was still so intensive and, as you said, heartbreaking, I think.
Absolutely. So it's definitely coming from a personal space, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about casting the film, and obviously you're casting not only actors to play actors, but also, since it's a bit of a personal story, how is this different from getting actors just to play any normal role that you might be casting for a film?
I think that it might be a bit difficult, but for actors to play an actor. But when you've got people who are good in what they're doing and that suits to the role we were written them, it just goes fine. But for me, casting is difficult. Just every casting is difficult because I love actors. I love their work. And now when I'm a director, I admire them even more, which is crazy. And I think being an actor helps me sometimes finding some language of guiding in guiding process. But I really hate castings. When I'm an actor and I'm always stressed that I will lose something, and I never feel this serenity and safe space on castings. So I'm trying to cast my movies in another way. I'm visiting theaters and drinking coffee with actors. And this is easy because usually they are all my friends. So like in the case of Take Me to Her, Kasia Dałek and Michał Jaros were my friends from school. And this is a fun fact. They are a couple in real life. And that was important for me when I was casting the movie.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I can understand how it's difficult, coming from being an actor yourself and trying to do it without hurting feelings, so to speak.
Yes. I've tried to be very sensitive.
Absolutely. Now, I really like in the audition scene that you have in the film, you use the camera almost as the perspective of Basha, I think is the main character, showing the people out in the audience, the various producers or casting agents, as if we're her watching the scene from the stage. What were you trying to capture by using the camera that way in that scene?
I guess my personal experience, but to tell the truth, this is the midpoint of the movie, and it was very important for me to change the objective perspective and jump into the character's head. Audition scene is the first time when she is in the corner and she can't run from her past anymore. Of course, there are people watching, so it's even more difficult for her to confess. And we needed to cut a lot of scenes from the script because it is a very short film. But the idea was that she's admitting to her displaced grief for the first time, and those uncomfortable circumstances were the only way to have the honest conversation with her husband.
Sure. Yeah, no, I really like that. And obviously one of the important parts of the film is the baby that shows up during the acting audition scene. Obviously you have challenges with filming with a baby, I'm sure. So what were some of those challenges, and you decided to go ahead and actually tackle those for this film?
The baby was wonderful, but working with the baby was a nightmare. It was very difficult. Many times when we had to set the lights, the baby was having a nap, for example, and we have only 4 days to shoot it. So we need to find some ways to have some improvisation on set. But we had a doll, but it didn't look so well, so we only used it in this train sequence for safety matters, of course. And that day the baby had off, free time. We have also this car seat, and we thought it might solve many problems, and it did. But of course, baby was very important for us. But it was so difficult that after taking to her when I was supposed to shoot my last student movie in school, I just rejected all ideas with the babies, and I was searching for scripts, and my friend sent me one, and he said, "Oh, look, it's good script," and I said, "Yeah, it's very good, but no, don't give me a script with the babies for 3 years."
Yeah, take that challenge out of it for a while.
Yeah.
And now I also want to thank you for tackling the topic of the loss of a child on screen. My wife and I actually lost our first child when he was just 1 month old. So I appreciated seeing this loss that the main character has gone through depicted in a film like this. Why was it important to include this as an element of the character's story?
First of all, I'm really sorry. It's I know it's very difficult, and I'm glad, and I'm not glad. I'm just thank you for sharing that difficult stuff that you and your wife were through. And we have also lost 3 kids.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My son, thanks. My son had a twin who was born dead, but Take Me to Her was written by my wife about 8 years before all that happened. So I guess this was in the script she was trying to, I don't know, understand her biggest fear. But 8 years later, it just catched us. So it just from story. From imagination, it becomes a real life story. So to tell the truth, a month ago, we lost a son, and right now we are.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it just happened. We are a week after funeral, so this topic is still with us, and this problem is much bigger than the movie. And I think that for me the loss of the child is of course the heart of the story, but this is something that everybody can understand, because everybody loses something or someone, if you know what I mean. Just you are when you are watching story about lost, you just connect it in 1 second to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear about your having to go through it once is one thing, but having to go through it multiple times, I can't even imagine.
I'm so
very sorry.
Thanks.
Well, no easy way to transition from that, unfortunately, but I do want to congratulate you on being a Student Academy Award finalist. You said earlier, you friends would joke that you'd never win anything because of the last name and how difficult it is to pronounce, but here you are as a finalist there. Are there any upcoming festivals or screenings or any place else that people can check out the film if they're interested in what they've heard?
Yes, in 2 weeks, so in 14th of October, you will be able to see Take Me to Her on Warsaw Film Festival. So just fly to Poland. It's not far.
Sure.
And about a month after that, there will be screening at Tallinn Black Nights Film Festival. So these are the screening that are the closest from here.
Excellent. Well, we'll put some links to those festivals in the show notes so that people can check them out if they're in the area.
Thank you.
Now, I have a couple of questions not specifically related to the film, but before I move on to those, is there anything else you want to touch on about Take Me to Her?
Yeah, only one fun fact. The second one. Take Me to Her was the script that changed my life. You know, my wife wrote it as her bachelor's degree script, and every time I was reading it, I cried. So I thought it's the perfect script for the narrative short, and I've sent it to many my friends, directors, and they all say that it's brilliant, but they prefer to make a movie about their relationship with an alcoholic father. There are a lot of Polish movies about a relationship with alcoholic father.
Sure.
So one day I was like, okay, it's enough. If there's no one interested in the script, I'm gonna do it by myself. But till then, I'm gonna learn how to make movies, and this is how I start studying once again with 2 kids and working in a theater. It was very difficult, but here we are. So
yeah, well, sometimes you just have to go ahead and do it yourself if no one else wants to take you up on the offer.
That's right.
Well, this might be the hardest question I ask, but if you had to pick your top 3 films of all time, what would they be?
Okay, it is the hardest question indeed. So I'm not sure if they are top 3, but the Lion King, I think. Okay. I just feel pure love for this combination of, you know, Bambi and Hamlet. As they said, Bamlet, when they were making this movie. Yeah. And it was, I think it was the first time when I was in the cinema with my parents. I was about 6 and I cried a lot. And I remember something like, I don't know if it's true, but I remember this scene. And my father is so stressed that I'm crying so loud in the cinema and interrupting all the people in the theater. Right. So he's whispering to my ear, "Be quiet or I will never take you to the cinema again."
Oh, no. So,
but he did. He took me many times. The second one will be, I know that I'm cheating, but Lord of the Rings, Snatch, and Matrix, because they are the movies that I was watching when I was a teenager. And I think they created my sense of adventure, and I watched them many, many times. I remember I could recite the first 30 minutes of Fellowship of the Rings. So it was awesome. Sure. And the third one will be, and I'm still cheating, There Will Be Blood, Big Lebowski, and Manchester by the Sea, because how good directors outline the characters of protagonists, and because of their very special sense of humor, which is the thing I admire the most in the cinema, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, all excellent choices, even if you cheated and gave me 7.
Thank you very much.
Now, if you could invite any 3 movie characters to your next dinner party, who would they be and why?
This is tricky. I heard that you asked those questions earlier, so I'm prepared. Carmi Berzato from The Bear, and I hope he will prepare such a great meal for us, because I'm not very good in cooking.
Yeah.
And this is so much about the dinner and about the party. I guess Jordan Belfort from the Wolf of Wall Street. And
Okay.
I guess he would be responsible for the fun part of the party. And also, I don't know, last but not least, Sam Bell. I don't know if you remember from The Moon, there was Sam Rockwell in a station. So I just thought that that guy is so lonely and he would need a company.
Sure, so, yeah. He could use a little fun and a good meal.
Yeah, that's right.
Wonderful. Good choices. Now, do you have any books you could recommend that you've read recently? They could be fiction or nonfiction and don't have to be related to movies.
Just so many good books. It's so difficult. It's almost that difficult to ask the question about films.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the recent books I read. So, Boy's Life. I don't know if you know that, by Robert McCammon. It's because when I read it, I just felt like I'm watching the Spielberg's best movies. It's so good. Also, Ice by Jacek Dukaj. It's a Polish novel. It's very interesting and a bit hard. I heard that they're translating it into English, but it took a lot of years to make it because it's a very big book.
Sure.
So it's brilliant. I hope you will be able to read it one day, to read it. Okay, and My Struggle. You said that you've got Norwegian roots.
Yes.
So this is by Karl Ove Knausgaard, or maybe I should pronounce it Knausgaard. I'm not sure. And because it's very complex and just so impressive. I think Karl Ove is one of the most interesting writers right now. And of course, Jon Fosse, who made his Septology and got a Nobel Prize last year. It was brilliant. I was reading it and it smashed me.
Wonderful. Well, those are some good suggestions. I'll make sure to put some links to those so people can check those out. And
Thank
Leslie,
you.
before we wrap things up, do you have any other projects lined up for the future? And also, where can people follow you on social media or elsewhere to keep tabs on what you're working on?
Right now, I'm finishing my master's short film called Fish and Chips. This is the story based on the Abel and Cain brotherhood relationship. And I'm writing with my wife, of course, and my friend some post-apocalyptic TV series. We are just making a Bible of the project. And also I'm working on my first feature. I hope it will be good one. And about social media, I'm not so good at it. I'm a boomer. So
I'm not either, so don't worry.
So I guess you can find me on LinkedIn, but I'm not sharing a lot of things right there because I prefer doing them, not sharing.
Sure.
But I'm still I'm also working at the Facebook page with my friends. It's called Langberg Studio, and maybe sometimes there can appear some information about our project. But I guess this page has a year and there are 3 posts or 4, so we are all boomers.
Sure.
But yeah, try to find us there.
Sounds good. Well, we'll put some links to those so people can find you on those platforms, and when you do post text, they can see what you're working on.
No, of course. Thank you very much.
Yes, well, thank you so much for the time today and for coming on the show and sharing such a personal film and personal story with me. I look forward to seeing what's next and seeing some more recognition for your work in the future.
Yeah, thank you for your time and for all this Oscar Project Studio. It's brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you again to my guest today, Bartłomiej Błaszczyński. His short film, Take Me to Her, was selected as a finalist for the 2024 Student Academy Awards. The Oscar Project podcast is written and produced by me, Jonathan Eaterberg. with editing assistance from Joshua Eacherberg. Please be sure to come back for my next episode, where I'll be speaking with Kirsten Slement, director of the short film Bird Country. Until then, I hope to see you at the movies.